In the last few minutes before we get to 10:30, I want to ask you just a little bit more controversial stuff. So I figure you're tired and I'm going to get more interesting answers.
Happy to oblige.
So on this Calvinism thing, is Calvinism anti-missions? We hear that a lot from people.
I thought you were going to ask something controversial. Come on. No. That was the point of that message. No.
I was awake. I took notes. I even tweeted a line of it during it. Well, so, John, just unfold that a little bit more.
Yeah, okay. So why don't you tell me why you think that's a popular
Because if
view?
God's predestined everything, what do we need to do anything about?
Ah, that's a little more helpful.
Did I step into your trap?
No, but it gets at the point. So if God predestines people before the foundation of the world unto adoption, which is what Ephesians 1, 4, and 5 says he does, as well as Acts 14:38 and other passages, if he does, then why go evangelize the nations?
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
Right. I'm just restating it so
Okay.
that they know what the issue is. I love clarity. And the answer is, if God predestines that a nail be sunk in a 2x4, why would you hit it with a hammer?
That's a good question.
Because God ordains means as well as ends. There's no doubt in my mind that God wanted that glass of water to sit right where it's sitting. And I put it there. And he wanted it there and there. And you became the means.
All right.
So that's the missionary. And really, I mean, let me just make sure you get this. It is so simple in principle. If you believe, and this
That was ordained.
This is a humble missionary. If you believe in the total sovereignty of God, see, the people that ask that question in a kind of mocking way, like they're trapping you or something.
And I want to be clear, John and I are having fun with this, but I assume in a group this size, this is a burning question for a lot of you, and I don't mean to make light of it.
I do
We're just
too,
trying
and
to,
I'm not making light of it. You are.
well, I'm just trying to keep it interesting.
I never use the word fun when talking about predestination.
Joy.
We're having
Very different than fun, I know. Let's be clear.
Are you done?
Well, maybe, we'll see.
If you believe in the total sovereignty of God, not just the predestining sovereignty of God, not just that he decides a few things from the beginning, but that he decides everything, like the dust motes that are flying in the air right now, and where each of them goes, or like if you pour a Coke and look at the bubbles that are foaming to the top. I often stare at them and worship by saying, God knows exactly how many bubbles of Diet Coke there are and when each pops, and he decides when each bubble pops. Now, if you hold that view, then the coming to Christ of a person and the bringing of that person to Christ by the agency of a missionary are both predestined. And I'm perfectly willing to say nobody is coming to Christ apart from the human agency of the gospel. Nobody. Even though I totally believe all who come to Christ because they have been chosen by God before the foundation of the world. And the reason those are not inconsistent statements is because God totally chooses who goes and totally chooses who evangelizes and totally chooses who gets saved, which is why when I'm teaching on these points of Reformed theology or doctrines of grace or Calvinism, I always start with irresistible grace, not unconditional election, because I look out on a group like this and I'll just go from person to person. I want to say, tell me how you became a Christian. What are you going to say to God at the last day when he asks you, why are you here? And you'll say, because I believed in your son. And he'll say, right answer. Why did you believe in my son and your brother didn't? What answer are you going to give him? I was smarter. I was more spiritually attuned. I was decisive. You will not. I guarantee you will not say that. You will say to him with tears in your eyes and trembling in your hands, by your grace I came alive. By your grace I woke up. By your grace I saw. And you will know that means you received a gift your brother didn't receive, and neither of you deserved it. Neither of you deserved it. That gift happens through the agency of evangelists or pastors or Billy Graham or your mom or your dad or your roommate or a missionary coming from a foreign place.
Okay,